Welcome to RobMotive.
Okay, today we're going to be replacing the cheapo front engine skid plate on the new Toyota Tacoma. If you don't know what I'm talking about, and you haven't seen one of these yet, look at this thing. It's like fiber plastic, garbage. So I bought a steel skid plate. You can get this in aluminum, by the way. I'll leave some information down below if you want to check it out. But if you're doing this and you don't already have a skid plate, or you've got a non-TRD Offroad or Pro, you're going to need this bar. This bar goes across the front. It attaches on both sides where the recovery points are, so that you have something to bolt the front of this skid plate to. So first off, we're going to go ahead and unbox this. I want to make sure it's what I think it is, and then we'll remove the cheapo skid plate down there, and we'll get this bar attached. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing out of here and take a look at it. Make sure I got what I think I got, which I'm pretty sure I did, given how heavy this thing is. And it is super heavy. I think it's about 67 pounds. So let's see, I think I felt some maybe hardware in there or something, some kind of a something in there. Let's get this out. Wow. It is heavy for sure, and there is a box of, looks like hardware. Let's see if we can't get that out of there. Wow. That's pretty heavy too. Let's see what's in this box. Again, I'm sure it's hardware. At least I think so. Not exactly sure how. Okay. It did open the way that I thought it should. Now, what we've got are some bolts, not too many of them, so that's a good thing. And then we have a bracket. I'm not sure, honestly, what this is for. So we'll find out, and I don't think there's anything else. No, so that's everything that comes with the kit. I don't see any instructions yet. So let's go ahead and unbag. Man, that sucker's heavy. See if there's any instructions underneath. There may be, I kind of doubt it. No, I don't see any instructions. Fortunately, on RCI's website, there are instructions. Now, let me point out, there is an access point here for changing the oil. You can access the oil filter, so that's good. I like that. And then there's some other holes and things down there. Does say RCI, I know it's backwards on the thing itself. So it looks good. It's painted, I believe, black or powder coated. Powder coating, of course, would be better. It's always handy. Get rid of that. And that's it. So here's what it looks like. And again, it is pretty hefty. I believe it's a 1/4 inch steel. Again, you can get it in aluminum. It'll weigh much less and probably a lot easier to put on, but this is what we've got. In hindsight, I probably should have bought aluminum, but it was more expensive too. And if you're really looking for power, this is what you want. Let's go ahead and get that bracket, or that cheapo skid plate off, and then we'll see about getting the bar on. Okay, to remove the hardware we're going to remove, you need a 17 and an 18 millimeter. I take that back. A 17 and not an 18, a 12 millimeter socket. The 12 is for the 4 bolts, I think there's 4, maybe 5, that hold on the cheapo skid plate. And then the 17 take off the recovery hooks, which we're going to remount again, by the way. But you have to put that bar that I showed you up there first. So I'm going to go ahead, remove these, remove those, and then we'll grab the bar. All right, that takes care of this thing. Now, I'm going to remove these bolts and these points and make sure you remember how they're oriented, because you're going to put them back on if you're going to do it like I'm doing it. Let's grab that bar and get it on. Get it on. Now, before you put the bar on, at least I'm going to do this first, you have to put these little inserts in these holes. And the whole purpose of those is to be able to screw into them once you have the skid plate there underneath. So, it looks like they go, according to the picture, like so, and then just slide them through over the slot here. So we're going to do that. Okay, to put this bar on, you want it to look like this, looking from under the truck to the front of the truck. So the ledge with the 2024 taco on it, or 24 taco, should be on the top at the front of the truck, and then it's going to bolt into the holes that you just took the recovery points out of. I've got the bar on. This is the orientation of it, I think. It's very confusing. Looking at it straight up from underneath, with the front being this way, you have the little square, and then towards the front is the hole that you're going to screw into. And right here is the 2020 or 24 taco, which is reading it from underneath backwards. So OCAT 42. One piece I almost forgot about. There is what they call an engine standoff plate. I don't know what this is for, other than maybe to keep a little more stability on the skid plate itself, I guess. I'm not exactly sure. But you're supposed to go ahead and bolt this on, as I've done right here. Just bolts through 4 holes like you can see there. And that's it. So it's pretty simple. Okay, got it all done. Have to say, it's probably about a 30-minute job or so if you have an extra set of hands to help. And it would have an extra set of hands if you go with the steel version, because it's pretty heavy. All, no doubt, of the 67 pounds that I saw it weighs. This is what it looks like from the front. The truck, keep in mind, is pointed up. You can see it a little bit, but really not much. And once the truck is level, more like this, you're not really going to see it under there at all. It is held on by 6 bolts. Pretty simple. Everything fit really well. I just used a crate to kind of balance it on while I got the front 2 bolts in, and then I moved on to the middle and the back, just like the directions say. Everything fit really well. I do want to say one thing. That little engine standoff that's underneath the frame here, you run the bolts up here through it into the holes that were holding the cheapo skid plate on there. And by the way, it's not really a skid plate. It's called a gravel guard. So you don't even get a skid plate on some of the Tacomas. Here's the little window you take off to access the oil filter right up there for when you want to change the oil. And then, as I mentioned, 2 screws here in the back. Nice, solid product, 1/4 inch thick. I mean, you can't beat it as compared to the other one. Again, it is from RCI Offroad. I'm not sponsored by these guys. I've got no skin in the game. But a nice, really solid product that I would highly recommend. Again, I'll leave some info down below. The only ding I'll give this system, I guess, or skid plate, is when you buy a black painted or powder coated piece, they really ought to provide black hardware. I mean, if you're paying for a black piece, you probably don't want the silver or chrome. At least I don't. So that'll be something I'll take care of down the road. I'll just paint them real quick. Probably just the ones here in the front. Obviously, you're never going to see anything from underneath, so who cares? But these really ought to be black RCI. So if you happen to be seeing my video, man, you ought to make that change, I think. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Something you'd be interested in doing or not. And I highly recommend it. Even if you're not a big-time off-roader, still, stones and boards and chunks of steel and junk can fly up underneath your truck. And you certainly don't want it going through that cheapo piece behind me right there and damaging anything under the hood, you know, like the engine. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye. Oops, there's one more thing I forgot almost about, and that was, did putting 67 pounds on the front of the truck change the wheel gap at all? In other words, is it pulling the front of the truck down? So I measured before, and this is a real loose measurement, of course. I mean, I'm just measuring from the tire up to what I consider to be about the center of the fender, and it was 7.75 inches. So, what is it now? And realizing too that environmental factors can play a role, but it looks like it did. Because now it's about 7 1/4, so it's like it took about a ½ an inch off of my height. Let's check the other side. Wow, is that possible? I don't know. Let's check this. Looks like close to the same, maybe a little bit different. Again, environmental conditions will make a difference, but looks like it did pull it down about a ½ an inch or so.